Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Maxim. I'm the Vice Chair of the Calgary Leadership Forum, and I also happen to be a candidate for Alderman in Ward 11. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce the President of the Calgary Leadership Forum, my good friend, Brian Lee. Brian.
Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We are happy you're here, and we're happy that we have 11 candidates to speak to you today. You know, history is alive in our times. This city's been around for over 120 years, and we haven't had a new mayor in a decade, and we're going to have a new mayor the evening of October 18th. Somewhere between now and the next 60 years, we're going to add another 1.6 million people to Calgary, and we need a new bus driver, we need new members of the bus, and we get a chance to decide that. So the Calgary Leadership Forum decided that we wanted to hold the first major public, non-partisan, non-aligned, non-special interest group forum. So that's exactly what this is, because we would like to see Calgarians make informed decisions, because knowledge, after all, ladies and gentlemen, is power. So 32% voter turnout from the last election is pathetic, and we think that informed citizens with choice are going to come out this year, and we're going to do everything we can. We have some other major announcements to make, but starting off with this forum. So, ladies and gentlemen, to begin, we're going to ask you all to stand and sing "O Canada," and Charlotte Rich, James Maxim, and Alison Springer will lead us.
Oh, Canada,
our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, with glowing hearts receive thee rise, the true north strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
let the games begin.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Edwards, one of the great thinkers of Calgary's history, once said, "A little learning is a dangerous thing, but a lot of ignorance is just as bad." So we hope to banish the bad and have well-informed debate here today. To begin with, I would like to acknowledge the Croatian Canadian Cultural Center. In my view, they're one of the most successful multicultural groups in Calgary, and they decided to contribute this hall for this event. In fact, I was so impressed this morning at 7 a.m., Joe Sosa and his wife Anna, Rada and Anna, Luca, Daniela, and Netta were all here reorganizing this because it was a gigantic wedding last night. And I was commenting to Joe's wife Ann that I read in one of the relationship books that if you want to make love to your wife, vacuum. And Joe was vacuuming. And he said, "Joe, we're going to vacuum tonight, aren't we?" So there's all kinds of good things that can happen from an election debate. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's give them a round of applause for their support for this debate. We are very fortunate that not only do we have interest from the public, and this is an awesome turnout today, we're thrilled, but we have some former members of City Council who are with us. So I'm going to ask them to stand and be recognized, because I think it's pretty cool that they continue their interest. So Anne Blau, who's a member of council forever, and she's with here with her husband Bruce. And if Anne stands, you'll never know it. Barb Scott, Bev Longstaff, Helen LaRoe, and would you please stand? We also have Alderman Jim Stevens, who came here off his holidays, put his suit on, he's going to go back on holidays, but he didn't want to miss this because he, of course, wants to know what the candidates have to say about the tunnel. So Jim, welcome. Thank you for being with us here today. We also have some former MLAs, former MLA Stan Krishner and Bud Zip. Would you please stand? It's so good to see you again. Current MLA Len Weber and Lee Richardson, Member of Parliament, who will be here with us shortly. So ladies and gentlemen, moving on pretty quickly, we're going to stay right on time. We have 11 candidates. They each get a 5-minute opening statement. So let me give you a quick overview of the agenda. They're going to have their 5 minutes, then we're going to have a break, then we have a question and answer period, and then they're all going to get a 2-minute closing opportunity for closing remarks. Now, I would like to mention at the very beginning that we're pretty excited that Global TV has decided to cover this thing from beginning to end, and they're going to upload it to their website. So sometime this evening, you'll be able to see this over and over and over again. But the important thing is Calgarians are going to be able to enjoy this debate up until October 18th. So let's give a round of applause for Global TV for this. While you are listening to the candidates, we would like you to keep in mind that you're going to have an opportunity to submit a question. You all got little cards when you came in. When we're done, you're going to be able to pass the card in. Our ushers will collect them. Some of you have already turned them into our panel. Don Thompson, Bob Mertenspool, and Dolores Bilson will be joining the panel as well. So let's give them a round of applause for the work in advance that they're doing here. Thank you very much. If you want your name mentioned, please sign your name, and you don't have to, your call, but if you'd like to, please mention it. And we are going to ask the candidates, when they answer, if they can keep their answers to a maximum of 1 minute. This event is sponsored by the Calgary Leadership Forum. We are a nonpartisan think tank, as I mentioned earlier. Our mission is we are dedicated to improving the quality of life for this and future generations, and we think a knowledgeable public is part of the process of creating a quality of life. We have several members of our board here today, and I'll just mention them. They don't need to stand. I'm your president, James Maxim, who is just sang, Bob Mertenspool, and also President Don Thompson, and Susie Dixon, and Tony Hagee. So let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate the work they do. Now, we have brought in some pretty significant, knowledgeable people to help us with timing. So I'm going to introduce Allison Springer, and Allison is going to explain how the timing works. Allison?
Excellent. Yes, there is a. This is how it works. So each of the candidates will have exactly 5 minutes. Now, they will be notified of their 5 minutes through this visual timer that I have here. It lights up with the green, for those of you who can see it. It'll show up at green on 3 minutes. The yellow light is 4 minutes, and the red light is 5 minutes. Now, just in case for some reason you don't happen to see the lights, at 4 minutes on the yellow light, from my seat right here, I will stand up and then sit down. And then at 5 minutes, I will stand up again, and that will be time is up. Now, if they're continuing on during the 5 minutes, we have buns here that we will throw at them. Now, the reason why we chose buns is because it's cheaper than Nerf balls, plus they travel further. So if you would like to participate in this, just let me know. All right, so is that clear for the candidates? 4 minutes, I will stand up, and then sit down, and then 5 minutes again. All right, that's it.
Let's give a round of applause. You want to demonstrate? Okay. All right, so here's, okay. So 5 minutes, time's up. Please Buzz, by the way, Wayne, will be recycled to my dog Sonny, who's a golden retriever. All right, so, and when Allison stands at 5 minutes, I'm going to ask, this group here, you cannot stand because the TV people won't be very happy, but I want everybody else at 5 minutes on this side, I want you all to pretend that Allison just stood, so everybody on 5 minutes, please stand, everybody up. Okay, and then sit down. So you're all going to get a standing ovation to sit down, all right? Okay, I think we got it. All right, well, just prior to our beginning, Wayne Clements was visiting with all the candidates, and he conducted a poll to indicate, do I have a list? Okay, I have a list here. He drew for who will go first and who will go last. And so let me just announce the speaking order. And the first speaker will be Paul Hughes. Sorry, he's last. Sorry, Paul. Joe Conley will go first, number 1. Number 2, Craig Burrows. Number 3, Naheed. Number 4, Derek McKenzie. Number 5, Kent Hare. And the candidates will all be coming over here to the microphone. And Kent, we've made arrangements with a special microphone so you can speak from where you are. You have your own lectern. Thank you very much. Number 5, number 6 will be Wayne Stewart. Number 7, Rick McIver. Number 8 will be Al Noor. Number 9, John Lord. And number 10, Paul Hughes. So, and it doesn't really matter what the order is, but we had to pick an order and we wanted to be fair about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. And off the races on, you want to just mention?
For the index cards that you have for your questions, can you please print them? If it's addressed to a specific candidate, make sure that's in big bold print at the top. If it's a general question, we will take general questions and we'll round robin them out to the candidates. I'll explain to the candidates when we have the question and answer session what's expected of you, but it's going to be great. Thank you very much. And as you complete your questions, if you could pass them to an usher during the proceedings, we'll start to organize them as we go along. So thank you very much.
All right, and the last speaker will be Bob Hofstad. Bob, we're so glad you're here, as we're glad all the candidates are. So, our first candidate for exactly 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome candidate Joe Connolly.
Thanks, Brian. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming out, everyone. Good to see everybody here today. I think when we talk about politicians, you want to know about 3 things. You want to know about their motivations, you want to know about their qualifications, and you want to know about their results, whether in or outside of politics. My story starts